feeling. Thank you. So there is a little story that goes along with those two songs. First of all, this is just funny, but Waddy's like, oh no! But when this cape is very old. There's a story about this that's coming, but not now. But when I look down at my feet, the same kind of black boots and this, it looks like I have gone 30 years back. It's kind of creepy. From the knees down, it looks exactly the same. This is what you have to look forward to. So, Belladonna, when the record was done, we were able, because of that single, we were able to go on a really good tour. So we packed up and out we went. For about 4 weeks. We actually filmed it, thank goodness, at the Beverly Wilshire Theater in Los Angeles. So we got it on film, and then I got a call from my other job, saying, we're in Paris, France at the Honky Chateau, and we need you like now. We've been here for 5 weeks. So I said, okay, I made a promise, so we wrapped it up. And I packed up and flew to Paris. Now, it could have been worse. I could have had to pack up and fly to Siberia, but as it was still, you know, it was okay because we had made the record, we'd done a tour, and we did Belladonna on stage for that tour. So, got to Paris, and I was already in the midst of writing Wild Heart, because I knew, I wasn't worried about Mirage, the record that Fleetwood Mac was making. I knew that would just all fall into place, and I had the trunk of songs, so I was cool. But the second solo record was not completely written, even though I had already written Wild Heart when I got to Paris. So I used that time over there to madly write as many songs as I could for Wild Heart as possible, because I was terrified that Belladonna, because it was a first effort from a girl who came out of a big band, was going to just be considered to be a fluke. Thank you. Because Belladonna was not a fluke. So anyway, the story goes. So when we finished Mirage, we went out on the road, it was very successful, I felt very lucky, I was very happy, blah blah. And then I called Julia again and said, okay, I'm ready to go, so book the studio, I'll be home in a week, and the name of the next album we're going to do is called Wild Heart, title song is written, several other songs are written, can you do this? He said yes. So I went straight to Los Angeles, straight into the studio. Now, Wild Heart was not near as easy as Belladonna was, because Belladonna was the first effort, so everybody was very focused, especially me. Very focused, very into what was being done, very much like not wanting to spend too much money because it could be your first and last solo record. So Wild Heart was exactly what it says. Wild Heart was crazy and fragmented, and we would start and we would stop and we would argue, but it came out amazing. It just took longer. So it probably took about 6 months. I don't even remember. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of craziness. But when it was done, I loved it. And it was very different than Belladonna. So we put it out, and it was very successful. So the great thing about that was that Wild Heart made Belladonna not a fluke, and Wild Heart made my solo career not a fluke. And that was the best thing, because then when I walked away from Wild Heart to go back to Fleetwood Mac, I knew that I had my solo career was under control, and it was like that, I'd always have that, so that was really special. And Wild Heart was a song that we never even did on stage. We did like a 7-month Wild Heart tour, but it's such a hard song to play that it's taken us 35 years to learn half of it. So, anyway, the last part of my story is this cape, which we already discussed at the beginning of my story. This is the original Belladonna cape, and I'm going to show it to you. cost $2,000. Now, if you notice, there is not a thread in it. It is in absolutely perfect condition, and it has been worn off and on since Belladonna. So that's like over 30 years. So my mom, this is her little story. My mom was very frugal. My mom was very poor when she was little, and she never got over it. My dad was too, but my dad got over it and became a very, very successful businessman. And he was fine with having his suits made in San Francisco. My mom, not so much. So you wouldn't say to my mother, whom I called Barbara sometimes, Barbara, do you know how much this cost? It cost $2,000. Barbara would just fall over dead right in front of me. So I never did tell her how much any of this stuff cost, or any of it, because she would just been horrified. So the great thing is now, she's not here anymore, but she is actually, she's right here. If I said to her, or she would say to me about this, well, okay, I'm going to be her now, Stevie, that was a very good choice of fabric, because that is silk chiffon, and you know, silk chiffon is what they use to make sails for boats. And if we actually divided 35 years, or whatever it is, into $2,000, this is your mother talking, this is a really good deal.